Welcome back. You are listening to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman here on KX 93.5 FM, community-supported radio in Laguna Beach. Tonight we're hanging out with Marika Segal. Marika, if you weren't listening before, she is a spectacular artist. I have been raving about your artwork, Marika, actually since the very first time I saw it.
And I truly appreciate it from your part, Greg. Thank you so much.
You are quite welcome. I'm telling you, if you took Alex Gray and put it together with, I said Frida Kahlo earlier, but that's still not quite right. It's a raw, indigenous energy that you bring to the artwork. And it's beautiful because it's not so pristine that it keeps me away from it. Instead, it's raw enough that it invites me to dance with it. And that's a rare and special gift to you that you really have. Marika, welcome to Inner Journey.
Thank you so much, Greg, for having me on your show. I truly, truly appreciate it so much.
Okay. I'm going to ask you the same question I ask everybody first time out of the gate.
Fire away.
We have a number of different medicine men, shaman, artists of all kinds, authors and musicians, and to a person, there was a catalyst or a series of events that really thrust them onto their path, that made their path so evident for them that they felt like they could do no other. Is that true of you as well?
Definitely.
Care to elaborate a titch?
Well, as far back as 2012, between April and May of that year, I went to Ireland with my mother and my sister, and it was a lovely trip. It was also kind of a sad trip because I did go there the first time in 2001. And what happened was, during that time of the 2012 trip, I really sensed that the country did get poor, especially with when I went to Dublin, seeing a bunch of homeless on the streets and such. And I don't remember seeing that for the first time when I was 14. And as grateful as I am, that was the only part of the trip that I didn't like. But the main cataclysm that I had was I was looking at a blog post and I was reading a married couple's journey towards their marriage and their happiness. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, I got this idea. Beforehand, I used to paint on and off since I was 10, but I got the huge urge to want to paint out of nowhere suddenly just by reading that blog post, and I saw just this beautiful image in my head, this woman, this galactic woman.
Did you say galactic?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I saw this galactic woman in my head. And she was holding this cup in her hand made of fire and water, representing polar opposites coming together, but yet uniting as one. And and I felt so excited and so happy. I couldn't wait to get back home in sunny San Clemente, California, and start painting again.
So, did you eventually paint that picture?
Yes, I did. As soon as I got back home, I think it was around late May of 2012.
So I have to ask, did the actual painting wind up looking what was in your mind's eye?
Pretty much, actually. It pretty much looked as, probably I would like to say, I wish I could have made it more detailed, but it came pretty close.
Now, when I was researching you, I did a lot of different looking up and down and inside out. I tend to do that. There was one thing that you said that I really just intrigued me like crazy. You said you would like, if there's one thing that you'd like for us, the listening audience, and even me and Danny to understand, is that we are the universe in human form.
Yes.
What does that mean?
It means that all that has ever been, all that is currently now, all that will be, is all within us. And when I say that, I imagine just the celestial beautiful celestial energy within us, from the galaxies to the planets to the stars. A kaleidoscope of such intense colors, neon colors, blue colors. I imagine all of that is within us, because we're not separate from the universe. We're all interconnected. And yet, even paradoxically, in that connection, we have our own individuality. And that is basically what it means. It means we have that within us, and also it's a very beautiful and empowering thing.
So if I'm understanding you, and I'm going to extrapolate just a little bit, what I hear you saying is, there's a lot of dogma, there's a lot of religions, there's even a lot of non-dogmatic paths that say God is in us, God is everywhere. And if I'm hearing what you're saying, is you're saying the universe is God and we are God, and they are inseparable, and yet they are individual.
Yes, exactly.
That's wonderful and crazy and really hard to grasp, how you could be everything and still individual. How would you illustrate that for somebody?
Just say, just in general, if you're stuck in a current situation right now you don't want to be in, and you're stuck in a job that you don't want to be in, and you're like, okay, life totally sucks. I wish there was some way to get out of this. What was me? What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, first off, I invite you to imagine your heart center, where your heart is, and your whole body, just with the galaxies and the stars inside of you, and really, truly feel that power within you. Mm-hmm. Very beautiful, very vibrant, empowering feeling within yourself, and realize, okay, I do have this within me. This sucky job isn't going to be forever, and I'm going to figure out, okay, how do I get out of that? I'm going to use that power within me and figure out, okay, how do I get out of that job, and and just be open, allow that energy to come in, just even perceptionally, allow it to come in, and then I believe you'll start to feel miracles come your way as you allow the universal energy within you and outside of you to work miracles for you that you want.
I love that. The only part about that I have a different perspective on is it's not about getting away from something. It's about going towards. Because if you're going for something, the thing in the rearview mirror becomes so much less important. And besides, whoever drives down the road only looking in the rearview mirror going, I got to get away, I got to get away, what's going to happen?
You're going to collide with another car, with another human being, and that's terribly bad. Really, the idea of, because you have to look forward and you have to look backward. It's like a combination of doing both. So I totally understand what you mean.
Yeah, and I love what you're saying. When we come back, I would love you to illustrate a little bit about how you choose or how it comes to you about what to paint, and then break down some of your paintings. And you were kind enough to bring some of the paintings and some of the lithographs and some of the prints in here because you wanted to specifically show us the distinction between what it looks like as a print versus original. And I got to tell you, it's screamingly different.
It is, and even though print companies that are printing lithographs, they always try to recapture the original, and God love them always trying to do that, but there's no comparison. Even with all our current technology, there's still no comparison.
We'll talk about why that's true when we come back with more Inner Journey with Greg Friedman and our guest, Marika Segal. Welcome back. You are listening to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman here on KX 93.5 FM, community-supported radio in Laguna Beach. Let's talk about that for a second before we get to Marika. If you don't mind, Marika.
No, not at all.
Community-supported radio means that y'all support us. We get to do something spectacular and special and very individual and unique here. I have never seen a radio station where every single host and DJ gets to play out their passion. We get to do that because you support us. First and foremost, thank you for that. Truly appreciate it. Secondly, please keep it up because we dig what we're doing and we just want to keep doing it and better and better and better for y'all and because it sings in our soul, because it is our dharmic path. Thank you for that. Secondly, if you want to find out more about coaching or guidance, go to gregfriedman.com. And if you want to check us out on Facebook, it's Inner Journey with Greg Friedman. Also, we have something really, really cool that we're going to announce at the top of the hour. A little bit after 8 o'clock, stick around here, tune in, tell a friend. This is something that's going to be off the charts. It's going to shift your life. If you want to join in, it's going to be, and I am not waxing superfluous here, it's going to be absolutely one of those things that you will take with you and incorporate into your being in a whole grand way and like nothing else. Marika, thanks for waiting while I was babbling on.
Oh, no problem at all. And I don't think you were babbling.
Thank you. That's very sweet of you. We're here tonight with Marika Segal. Marika is an extraordinary artist. How would you, I've described your art a number of times already this evening. How would you describe your art?
Just very simply, just the universe within. And just simply when usually I would perceive what other people would perceive as the universe, just simply as the stars and the galaxies, just within ourselves. And that's as simple as I would describe it.
The universe within. And we went into that a little bit right before the break. Can you bring our listeners up to speed that may not have been with us? What do you mean when you say the universe within?
Just very simply, just the stars and the galaxies, just right within ourselves. And the just if you would imagine just simply the Hubble telescope, like in the pictures that they take of the stars, the Pleiades, the nebulas, anything like that you can imagine. That is what I show in my art. That is what I usually show in any given subject matter, whether it's in the form of a human being or in the form of an animal, or just in simply what we would consider an inanimate object.
Now, before we went on air, you told me something about Alex Gray that I'd never known before. And I don't want to misquote you, so jump in here soon. Will you please help me out? It's that he used to work in a morgue. Is that correct? Or
yeah, he used to work in something along the lines of that. I think it was a medical. I think it actually, now that I think about it, look back on it, I think it was a medical school.
Okay.
And the reason why you see such intricate art of his, and you see the veins in his art, and you see the muscles and the skeletons, it's because really, apparently he was very much like Da Vinci. He's really studied the human body and has really captured that in his work, as well as many spiritual aspects in his work as well.
So, on some level, that's at least a contributing factor to his inspiration.
Yes.
What's yours?
Mine would have to be, when I was about 11 and a half, in the year 1999, there was a point in my life where I was terribly abused for 2 months. And on and off, since that time, I was in major denial of the effects that it had on my life, including the most negative effects. And I remember telling my mother around when I was 19 years old, and I was going to FIDM, the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, studying fashion design at the time, this deep-harbored fear that I carried with me since I was that child. And when I told her about it, she was very loving and kind about it, and it was just something very much that I needed at the time. And so what happened was, about 3 days after that, of letting go of that fear, I was up in my bedroom, and I went into deep breathing meditation, something that she has taught me through many different esoteric teachings and many different meditative subjects. And for about 5 minutes, I just let myself go. I went into deep breathing, and then suddenly I felt my base chakra, my stomach chakra, the heart chakra, the throat chakra, and the back of my head. I'm guessing it's either the third eye or the crown chakra there was this icy cold and yet paradoxically hot feeling that I felt. And it was just, it was absolutely amazing. And I was in such a state of shock as to what happened.
At 11?
No, at 19.
Okay.
After I let go of that deep harbored fear that I acquired since then. And thank you for clarifying that, Greg. What happened was, for about 5 minutes, I was breathing just so intensely, and it was just, and I could just feel this icy cold energy all around me. Mm-hmm. And this happened for, just as I said, for around 5 minutes, and then I became suddenly very self-conscious of myself, and I didn't want to hear my sister next to me. She has a bedroom next to me, and I didn't want to hear her. I didn't want her to hear me do that deep breathing. So I kind of regret. I actually do regret it since, but I made myself stop. And then after that, I had this. Ever since then, my breathing completely changed, and it was as if instead of my lungs just breathing, my whole upper body and my head was breathing along with it. And I also had another experience in 2009 where my mom got this DVD to lose weight. Needless to say, I didn't lose weight. Oh, neither did she at the time, but I acquired something.
First of all, no. First of all, this is not a visual medium, so they don't know that. Secondly, no. It's like, I hate when people even subtly body bash. That's just not cool.
Yeah, okay. No, okay, then never mind.
Thank you.
No, totally never mind that. But I'm just saying the truth as I recall it. So, but forgive me if I've offended you.
Oh, I think I'm wounded and I may never recover.
I'm just, okay. Back to the topic at hand.
So she had this meditation tape for losing weight.
It was actually not even a meditation tape. It was a DVD that somehow that allowed you to tense your muscles and to very deep breathe in and out. So I'm definitely assuming that they learned something from India or from any meditational master and incorporated this in this DVD lose weight program. And then what happened was one day, after many months of doing this one particular technique from the DVD, I had this experience where when I was holding in my breath, my feet started rocking back and forth, and I could hear this ringing in my ears. And I literally felt as if I was physically a ball of energy. And it was the most unreal feeling I have ever felt, even more intense than the first experience that I had back in 2007. And what happened was, I started hearing this ringing. My whole body felt electrical, and it felt very vibrational, and not DMT clear, even though I've never tried the substance itself, but a very taint glass clear, like black taint glass clear. I was able to see these wiggly, strange patterns. And this lasted, I'm going to presume, for about 5 to 10 seconds. And I was in a completely different mode of consciousness, not the normal strain at all, as if my whole being was in the experience. And then every time, now that I do that particular breathing exercise, and I'm show you, Greg, if you're curious about it as well, every time I do that, I have a slight different variation of that same experience every time.
And that leads to your artwork?
Yes. All of these experiences, including the one in 2007 and 2009, I was in quite a mental fog for a while. Even I had these beautiful experiences. I wasn't quite sure what to totally make out of them. And then suddenly, as we went to Ireland, somehow being away from my home environment, being away from the boredom and just being away for a while somehow brought all of that together. And that's when I had that cataclysm in 2012.
I understand that perfectly. One of the things that I'll tell people over and over again is part of why I'll take people to the jungles in Peru or to the outback in Australia or all over the world is because you have to get your nose away from the mirror. And sometimes that distance is created simply by geography, by literally just putting you into a foreign environment.
Exactly.
So there's a picture of yours that I posted of, what's the title of it? The horse. It's stunning.
Getting Back on the Horse?
Getting Back on the Horse. Okay. So you had that photo. That painting. What was that experience like for you that inspired you to paint Getting Back on the Horse?
Well, I think people have a hard time trying not to give up. And I think it's still very important not to give up on what it is you truly want. And I think what people need to realize is that they need to know what they truly want, or else how can they get back on the horse if they don't know that to begin with, that foundational thing. Forgive me for not describing it.
You're doing great. Right. So how the heck are you going to know that, okay, I'm going to get going and I'm going to go? Well, where are you going? And what I call that in my world, and one of the things that I say is absolutely a necessity for any journey, whether it's out the door or into the jungle, is intention.
Yeah, and the intention to never give up on what you find out what it is you truly want. And in the painting, it symbolizes the woman that has fallen back on the horse. Fallen off the horse. And she's just kind of struggling to get back up. And then the horse, I'm going to say, symbolizes your intention, your desire. It helps you, but yet firmly nudges you, okay, get back on me.
And did this come out of one of those meditative, I don't know what experiences?
Well, it simply came out of the saying, it simply was inspired by the saying, getting back on the horse, and that was my artistic take on the saying.
Dig it. And we have about a minute left. I just want to circle around to something you said when you were talking about that vision that you were having, that experience that you're having. You said it was even more unreal. It's funny that people describe that. At least it's funny to me that people describe that as unreal when, from my point of view, it's actually opening up to the expansiveness of what is actually much more real than the one level that we deal with it.
You're absolutely right. It is actually more real, but in comparison to the more, I'm going to say, kind of doled out reality that we find ourselves experiencing, it would seem more unreal to that reality, but ironically, it's much more. So I see exactly what you're saying.
We're about to take a break because, believe it or not, we whipped through an hour.
Okay.
But before we do, I've been raving about your artwork. I'd like to give our listeners an opportunity to see your artwork for themselves. Could you give out what website?
Yeah, it's marikasegal.com, and that is spelled MarikaSegal.com.
marikasegal.com or Segal.com. And you could also find that on our Facebook page if you want to check it out there. You're listening to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman, and we're here with Marika Segal. Welcome back. You are listening to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman here on KX 93.5 FM, community-supported radio in Laguna Beach. And we are here with Marika Segal. Marika is a spectacular artist. Just, again, I've described it in so many different ways. I've described it as Alex Gray meets Frida Kahlo, Alex Gray meets indigenous art. And the way that Marika's described it, I love. It's the universe within.
Yeah, it's just that simple, the universe within. Within any given person, within any given object, or within, recently, any given animal that I've been painting, because a lot of people love to project themselves in the form of an animal, because certain animals, whether it be a bird or more recently a sea turtle, I've been doing a lot of sea turtle paintings because somehow a lot of people just, at least the people that have been coming my way, really associate with that animal. And I guess because it almost looks like they're flying in the water. They don't look like they're swimming. They're just floating and just flying within the water.
And I've been scuba diving with them and snorkeling with them, and they really do fly in the water. And they're incredibly warm and curious. And when they're done with you, they're done.
They certainly know what they want.
Exactly. Now, we're going to go from that, which was elegant and eloquent. I tried to combine the words. Didn't work so well. To something a little less so. During the break, you asked, do we know a place called Wild Rivers? Now, for you guys that may not be listening from around this area or just don't know, Wild Rivers is a water park. And a water park is this thing that they have in a lot of cities where you have a variety of different slides and rides that are all water related. Now, why the heck did you ask us that?
Because I was very much feeling, just last time I was there, I was 13 years old, and I remember, I think it was called the Black Horn Ride, and it was the most...
The what again?
The Black Horn Ride.
Black Horn Ride.
Yeah, I believe that's what it was called, and it was probably the most daredevilish ride you could ride. And anyone who could ride it was considered a big kid. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, they were.
I don't know if I'm ready to put my big boy pants on yet.
Well, I remember going on that ride, and I remember feeling incredibly nervous and be like, okay, why am I even going on this about to go on this blasted thing? And then as I went on the ride, as I shot out of the black tube, I was having such a good time, and I was wondering why the hell.
You could say hell, it's okay. You should see the look on her face right now because everybody gets warned not to curse, and pretty much everybody, no matter how spiritual they are, every single guest loves to curse like sailors. And so Marika said hell just now and went, I think we'll live,
so
though.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Well, I just wondered why I was even afraid of this ride to begin with, and that's how I felt before coming on the interview, just going through that nervousness beforehand, and then right now I'm just having a very good time being here.
So what you're saying, in essence, is that thing that you fear?
Mm-hmm. It becomes the very thing you enjoy as you go through it.
That's huge. The thing you fear becomes the very thing that you enjoy as you just allow yourself to experience it. Dig that. Love that. So there seems to me some odd connection between that and something that I heard you say when I was digging through your stuff, which was you feel as though we've been conditioned to think of ourselves as nothing. What does that mean?
That means, when I think of that, we're born into a human body. We're born into a village, then we're born into a community and a nation, and then a planet which we call Earth, at least in the English language anyway. Well, the thing is, especially in Western civilization, if you don't have a job or a close group of friends, if you don't have a close family, if you don't have all of these things and materials, if you don't have the best car or things like that, if you don't have all these things that are strictly outside of you, you keep constantly chasing those people, those things. As a way, you are conditioned, that is automatically conditioned of yourself to think of yourself as nothing if you don't accumulate those people and those things. So we're constantly chasing away from feeling that way instead of being taught from a very young age. And when I say very young age, I'm pretty much when we're toddlers, pretty much, that we need to learn to go more within. And when we go within, then as we're taught to do that, even in our adult lives, we realize, okay, maybe I don't need the biggest fancy car. Maybe I don't need this group of friends who I thought were my friends. And I don't think I even need that job in order to feel like something. I already am something. I'm already the universe in human form. So what do I need to do in order to accumulate all of that, if especially if I don't truly want it, if I've been conditioned myself to think as something that I want?
So are you talking about the distinction between want and need?
Yes, I am.
I love the way you went, am I? So what you're saying essentially is we don't need to have so many things, but we can want them, and there's nothing wrong with wanting them. But to understand the distinction between what is a necessity in our lives and what is something that might be nice and may actually wind up being an extra burden that we don't foresee.
Exactly. And I've been learning, especially as I've gotten older in the last few years, to be such a minimalist. And it's been one of the best things I've ever done. And when I say minimalist, I mean not having as much physical outside objects around me. And just having a nice clear space with a few things in that I need and a few little things that I want. It's been great. It's been great.
It seems like that's a natural lead-in for you to explain one of your pieces of art, if you don't mind.
Sure.
There is a piece called Multiverse. Can you first tell us about the painting itself?
Well, the painting itself, it's of a woman's hand holding many grains of sand in it, and all these grains of sand pouring out onto the beach. And within each of these grains of sand is a universe within it. And that's essentially what the painting is.
And what made you say, hey, this is what I want to paint today?
Well, I remember back in 2012, I was with my sister actually right here in Laguna Beach. And I think it was just the beach down this road. Do you know what it's called? Or
This is Pearl Street Beach.
Oh, yeah, on Pearl Street Beach. I was with her that summer, and I was doing one of, what's his name? Osho's spiritual techniques. He's a very famous spiritual guru that really became famous in the 1960s. And then I was lying on the beach, and I was reading one of his meditational techniques on focusing on an object and just focusing on it and nothing else. And then suddenly I was focusing on a grain of sand, I'm going to say for a good probably 5-10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly, boom, right into my head, and without much effort at all, the thought for the multiverses came, and I thought, what an exciting idea it would be just to create something so unique, such a unique take on a quantum physics idea of the multiverses and incorporating it as grains of sand. And I couldn't wait to get back home and start painting again.
I love that you have such inspirations. It's a gorgeous thing. We're going to take a short break.
Okay.
When we come back, I would like to talk about something that is very unique to what you've done, considering where you come from. You've written a children's book.
Yes, I have. I finished it last year. It took about 9 months to do.
And it's called The Who Am I?
Yes.
I love that title, too.
Thank you.
If people want to find out more about you or your artwork, where would they go about?
They would go about it by visiting my website, marikasegal.com, and that's marikasegal.com. And right under the shop section, they will see an icon that says ebooks, and they'll find it right under there on Amazon.com.
That's great. And then you could also find so many pieces of her artwork that, and you don't, it's like they have the originals that are available, and you also have lithos and posters. There's something that's actually accessible no matter what financial strata you would like to express. Yes. But I got to tell you, it's worth it. I mean, it's so beautiful. I'm going to not blow and smoke up anybody's skirt. I guarantee by this time tomorrow, I'm going to have one of her pieces in my home hanging. You're listening to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman, and we are here with Marika Segal, and we'll be back after this short break. Welcome back. You are listening to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman on KX 93.5 FM, community-supported radio in Laguna Beach. We are here tonight with Marika Segal, and Marika is an artist in pretty much every expression of her life in so many different ways, but really predominantly her art is expressed through painting, and it's off the charts. Imagine Alex Gray combined with indigenous cultures, and there you have what she does. And the way that Marika describes it is it's essentially an expression of the universe within us.
Exactly.
And that's beautiful. Welcome back to Inner Journey.
No, thank you so much for having me on yet again. I mean, I meant yet again within the whole hour.
Okay. I didn't know I had you on before. I was wondering.
Yeah, pardon me.
How do you feel about taking a phone call?
I feel absolutely fine about it.
We have this very strange lady calling in from San Clemente. Her name's Naomi. Naomi, welcome to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman.
Hi, how is everybody doing there? You sound great tonight.
Thank you.
We thank you. We are doing phenomenal. And yourself?
Pretty good. I've been enjoying listening to the show and the wonderful questions and answers coming through.
And do you have any questions for myself or our guest this evening?
No, actually, I am Marika's mother, and I just wanted to give you a tiny little bit of idea about her that showed me when she was very young what a unique, blessed, different soul she was. May I share that with you all, Marika?
Go right ahead, Mom.
Well, one morning when she was 2 years, 2 months old, I went into her bedroom, and in the corner there was something glittering with the breeze from her window, and I got down on my knees and I looked at it. And it was the most magnificent spider web I've ever seen. And it was glittering with rainbow light. And I thought, my goodness, this is just gorgeous. And she came in and she said, Mommy, I made it. And I was so flabbergasted because the sacred geometry in the web, a laser scientist couldn't have done it. And I said to her, how did this happen? And she just laughed and said, Charlotte's Web, Mommy, Charlotte's Web. And she walked off as if she had done nothing.
Do you remember this at all?
I actually do not, but she has told me the story before, and I find it to be a very beautiful story, but unfortunately I don't remember it, but maybe one day I will. But I'm very happy that she shared it because even though I have many memories of my childhood, there's a lot that I don't remember, just like with any given person, but I'm very glad that she was able to share it with us.
Naomi, do you have one more quick story for us, or is that...
Well, I must say that she made this web out of dental floss and colored it. Can you believe that?
Wait, so she really made the web. It wasn't just an energetic or a spiritual thing.
She made it perfectly. Perfectly.
Okay, that's a big bombshell. That's really cool. So at 2 years, you made, out of dental floss and coloring, a gorgeous web?
It was unbelievable.
Apparently so, but because she remembers it. But at 2.5, I can't remember that far back. But she remembered it for me, and thank you so much, Mom, for doing and sharing that and remembering it for me.
Right, and then I will share a second story with you. It's
Okay.
kind of funny in a way. My husband also is pretty well-known metal sculptor. He's been in about 31 galleries, very successful. David Segal is his name, and he used to paint occasional things like Monet-style painting. Very good. But anyway, when Marika was 4, she was drawing all the time, every day. And I noticed that he had stopped doing any type of painting or drawing at all. And I said to him, "What's the matter, honey?" He said, "What's the matter? I can't compete with that kind of genius. I feel very inadequate here."
She's told
And
that
I said,
many
don't
times
be
to me.
ridiculous. Every artist is unique and contributes in their own way, and you've already made quite a name for yourself. But, he just didn't paint anymore. He just was so staggered by the amount of things she drew and painted.
And she is a stunning, stunning painter. Naomi,
Yes.
thank you very much for calling into Inner Journey.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on the show, and I love listening to you both. You're both wonderful beings.
Love you, Mom. I'll see you at home.
Okay, God bless.
God bless.
I love stuff like that. It just cracks me up. So it seems somewhat appropriate to go from you as a child to you as a writer of children's books. The book, The Who Am I? First of all, where's the title come from?
Well, the title comes from, I had this idea for a children's book, and I wanted to come up with a unique name for it, but a lot of people have already taken the name Who Am I for God knows how many titles that are out there in existence. But when putting the Who Am I, it really emphasizes the title more and makes it more unique. And what the title really means is, who are you? Why are you here? Like, the reality that you are experiencing right now, like, people have questioned this reality being real and so forth, and it's as real as I'm talking to you right now, and that's basically that.
And what is the book about, and how does it help guide children?
Well, when I was 4 years old, I would say about 3 to 4, and I remember being in the back of my parents' beat-up Pontiac at the time, and I was in the back, I think, with my brother and my sister, and I remember being in the middle of the seat, and I remember as we were turning, I think it was at Crown Valley, and what happened was, I had this feeling, this epiphany, like, okay, all right, why am I here? Like, is this all real around me? Where was I before?
Wait, you're asking that existential question at 4?
It was more of a feeling, that kind of a very existential feeling I just got, like, okay, where was I before I came here? Where, is this all real around me? Why am I here? That overall feeling, what I can describe it as, that I was feeling that at 4.
That's amazing. And then that eventually turned into the story of the Who Am I?
Yes.
Love it. We're going to take another really short break, and we'll be back with more Marika and Inner Journey with Greg Friedman right after a little James Taylor. Welcome back. You are listening to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman here on KX 93.5 FM, community-supported radio in Laguna Beach, California. Once again, if you want to check out more about coaching or check us out on Facebook, coaching is, and also our journey to Panama, cannot wait, is gregfriedman.com. If you want to check us out on Facebook, it's Inner Journey with Greg Friedman. Give us a like. We really appreciate it. We are here tonight with Marika Segal. Now, you've described your art as the universe within us.
Yes.
Give me another description. I'm going to put you on the spot. Give me a different way that you could articulate what it is that you do. Please.
Well, if you've ever wanted to if you've ever felt separate from creation, if you ever felt separate from the universe itself, just imagine that within, and it also, my work is very energetic, just by its very nature, very flowy and energetic, and just very colorful.
Gorgeous. And it really is literally very colorful. Now, you've said that you use your art to help others overcome things, or even to help recognize that they're more than they think they are.
Yes.
How?
Well, just by the simple visualization, you truly realize, and when you truly come into knowing that you are a piece, even just what you perceive as yourself as a small piece of the universe, you still are the universe. And when if you're going through the darkest of times, and you imagine yourself just in this powerful galactic energy just surrounds you, and that comes out from within your heart, and you just imagine yourself just more powerful than you thought you could ever be, just in time, when you give yourself that time and space, you can overcome anything.
And how do you help people get to that recognition, get to that understanding that that is the absolute truth through anything?
I think if people are open enough and they were to gaze at a piece of my work, because the universe within my art is consistent throughout all of my pieces. There has been not one piece where that isn't the theme of my work, particularly that I have on my website. And when people get that constant thing, okay, there's always that universal energy, no matter what I see, and even what I see in myself. I think when they're open enough, okay, yeah, I am more powerful than I was taught to think that I am.
It's an interesting phrase. I'm going to stop you there because you used it a couple times, when they're open enough. But, we, by our natures, are not necessarily going to be open enough. How do we get ourselves to the open enough place to recognize the beauty, the wonder, the spectacular that is both without and within us?
I think if people were to see my art, and I'm not sure how they would do it. I think it's something that has to happen with them on their own. I think that when someone, I hate to say it, when someone is going through a very deep crisis in their life, it forces them to be more open, and I think that's how that happens.
I love that you said that. Here's why I love that you said that. We talk about things so often in terms of good, bad, right, or wrong, and I go, forget that. It's not about good, bad, right, or wrong. It's about light and shadow. And what you just said is a perfect illustration of why the shadow can be something that's wonderful. That we normally perceive as the bad or the wrong or painful can actually be a wonderful, wonderful gift for us.
Yes, it can be, because the more you try to suppress, like the shadow, whatever bad thing it is that you're trying to do, that you're just trying to push away from, it will just come back bigger and bigger and bigger the more you push it aside, and you will be like, okay, now, all right, now I have to go through this, even if it'll take some time. I'm going to go through it, and then when you think you've come out of it, that's when a bunch of wonderful things start flowing in.
Well, to me, it's even while you're going through it. And I love that you said that, because one of the things that I will say over and over and over again is the universe becomes very incessant when it has a gift to offer you. And first, it's going to whisper gently in your ear. Then it's going to nudge you. Then it's going to maybe give you a little and an elbow. Then it's going to shove you. And eventually, if you're still ignoring it, it's going to take out a big old 2x4 and it's going to hit you upside the head.
Exactly. That's exactly what happens.
Believe it or not, we have come to that place in the evening where I ask my final question.
Fire away.
What, if anything, would you feel remiss in not sharing with our listening audience this evening?
Well, first of all, I thank you very much for this opportunity to be able to share this story. It is not my story, but one that has to be shared, and I'll describe it as briefly as possible. About last year, I did a beautiful painting about 3 brave men that saved Europe from becoming a nuclear uninhabitable wasteland. I remember their first names. I believe I'm pronouncing them correctly, by the name of Boris, Alexei, and Valery. And during the Chernobyl accident of what happened in 1986, they went into the nuclear waters next to the meltdown that was happening at the time. And if they didn't dive into those radiated waters and drain out from the river, go underwater and open the dam and open that dam to release the water, we wouldn't have a Europe as we currently know it. So unfortunately, all 3 of them died from radiation poisoning. And I thought, okay, I've only learned about their story last year. Why is this not well known throughout the world? These guys, everyone should know who they are, but automatically. And I've only just found out about them last year. And I did a painting called The 3 Men Who Saved Europe. And I wanted to do a memorial piece in dedication to their, I don't want to say it is actually in a sense a beautiful sacrifice, because without them, I wouldn't even have an Ireland or even a place to go back to my own ancestral homeland. And what they did was so profound and so important, and I wanted to share that with the world and share that through an art piece, a memorial piece.
And where can we see that piece?
On my website at marikasegal.com. That is MarikaSegal.com.
marikasegal.com. MarikaSegal.com.
Exactly.
Anything else you'd like to share? You have the platform. One more shot at it?
Sure. I would like to describe my book that I wrote. It was a children's book called The Who Am I? And it's about a little girl named Melissa who is 4 years old, and one rainy day she wonders about who she is and what her place is in the world. As she falls asleep one night, she dreams about meeting a woman made of the stars and basically shows her many truths in a well that shows the interconnectedness of all that is in everyone, and also through feeling tells her why she is here, that she's basically here to learn and grow. And Melissa gets the message right away. And then after that dream, she perceives herself not only as a galactic individual, but also as everyone else around her with that same universal energy within themselves, and her life is changed forever.
Sounds a titch autobiographical.
It is. It is.
That's wonderful. I got to tell you, your artwork and you are such a gift on this planet. Thank you very much. We really, really appreciate all that you do.
And thank you so much for having me on your beloved show.
Absolutely a pleasure. As I have said a number of times, if we weren't able to get to you, and I know there was a couple more emails, please feel free to email us at greg@gregfriedman.com. You could also find out more about our journey to Panama, and also any kind of coaching or other kinds of assistance that are available there. Also, please check out and like our Facebook page. It's Inner Journey with Greg Friedman. I am incredibly fortunate to have some amazing people working with us behind the scenes to facilitate this show being able to be put on air. We have Emma Harris, Roxanne Roseboom, and Danny Donaire, our production supervisor. And Danny, as you all know, is also an author. He's written a book called 7 Years in 7 Days, A Life of Now. Get it. That's all I'm going to tell you. Just trust me on this. Get it. If you don't like it, I'll buy it back from you. Don't worry about it. And most importantly, I cannot begin to thank all of you enough. As I have said innumerable times, this show does not exist without you, the listening audience. For that, and for so much more, I am hugely grateful. You've been listening to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman.